A woman in a plain gray suit gets told to sit with the other defendants. She's only looking for her new office, but the court clerk eyes her dark skin and brushes her off. The clerk, who's lorded over this courthouse lobby for years, lets out a shrill, piercing laugh. "A judge? You, sweetie? That's the funniest damn thing I've heard all week." She spins away, clueless that her whole empire is about to crumble because the woman she just mocked isn't a defendant or a lawyer. She's Judge Elena Wright, and she's just witnessed something she was never meant to see. The Harlan County Courthouse wasn't the kind of place that rolled out the welcome mat. It loomed tall, a grim slab of weathered stone from decades back, with narrow windows that felt more like slits in a bunker than anything letting in light. Inside, the air hung heavy with bitter coffee, harsh cleaner, and that faint, biting edge of hopelessness. Elena Wright paused just inside the massive doors, shifting the strap of her simple leather bag on her shoulder. She was fresh to the building, fresh to the state even, stepping in to fill an unexpected opening on the Superior Court. She'd shown up early in everyday clothes, an understated charcoal suit that blended right in. It was her ritual. Arrive before the storm hit, before the robe and gavel, just to observe, to sense the pulse of the place. A courtroom had its own rhythm, she always thought, and too often that rhythm was off, jagged, unhealthy. Her gaze swept the vast, echoing lobby. To one side, a worn wooden bench scarred from years of use. To the other, the main clerk's office, a stronghold behind thick, shatterproof glass. Only one window was cracked open, spilling a dim glow onto the faded floor. Behind it sat a woman with a massive pile of bleached hair sprayed rigid as stone. Her glasses dangled from a chain around her neck, and her expression was locked in sour command. A small sign etched on the glass read, "Karen Wilkins, head clerk." Elena watched as a kid in a cheap suit, obviously a rookie from the public defender's office, approached the window. "Excuse me, Miss Wilkins," he said, his voice wavering a bit. "I'm here to file a continuance motion for state for Harlan. I was told—" Karen didn't glance up from her screen. She just raised one manicured finger like a barrier. The kid flinched back as if she'd swung at him. He stood there, waiting. The silence stretched. Elena noted the game. Karen was putting him in his place. Finally, Karen let out an exaggerated sigh, pure annoyance. She turned her head with deliberate slowness. "Harlan, yeah, you're late," she snapped. The kid stuttered. "The filing deadline is later." "The my time is valuable deadline was yesterday," Karen shot back, her tone laced with disdain. "You public defenders think you can stroll in whenever and dump your mess on me. I've got judges to handle." She yanked the papers from him. "Sit and wait. I'll get to it when I get to it. And fix your tie. It's crooked." The kid's face flushed crimson as he backed off, fumbling with his necktie. Elena exhaled slowly, quietly. So this is the gatekeeper, she thought. She knew the breed. Every courthouse had one. A lifelong paper pusher who'd confuse their tiny role for the whole damn machine. They didn't just shuffle documents. They held sway. They dictated who got in, when things moved, and ultimately how justice flowed. And this one, Elena figured, savored that control a little too much. She straightened her bag and stepped up. Her shoes clicked sharply on the tile, a sound that seemed to grate on Karen before she even reached the window. Elena stood there, offering a calm, even smile. "Good morning," Karen's eyes flicked over her, quick, dismissive, from the straightforward hair down her dark face, over the no-frills suit, to the sensible shoes. It was a full appraisal, and the judgment was plain, irrelevant. "Morning," Karen replied flatly. "What case?" "No case," Elena said, keeping it friendly. "I'm Elena Wright. the new judge for 3B. Here to grab my keys and the orientation materials from the administrator." Karen froze. She looked up, and this time the scan wasn't casual. It was blatant, appraising. She raked Elena over again, then a smug little grin tugged at her lips. "Defendant intakes down the hall, room 104, she said, waving her pen lazily. "You're early. They don't start yet." Elena's smile held, but her eyes turned icy. "I think you misunderstood. I'm not a defendant. I'm Judge Wright, taking over Judge Harlan's docket in 3B. This time, Karen didn't grin. She burst out laughing, a loud, harsh bark that bounced off the empty walls. It was pure mockery. "A judge?" she howled, rocking back in her chair and clutching her chest. "Oh, honey, that's gold. They letting anybody play pretend these days, huh?" She leaned in, her expression dripping with fake pity. "Look, lady, I don't know your angle. Maybe you're one of those sovereign nuts, or just plain confused. But judges," she tapped the glass, "don't look like you, and they sure as hell don't wander in like strays." "Don't look like me," Elena echoed, her tone dropping cold. "You heard right," Karen snarled, her amusement flipping to outright spite. "Now scram, I've got real work. Go park with the rest of the crowd on those benches till your actual case comes up, and don't bug me again." Karen wheeled her chair around, showing Elena her rigid, piled-up back, the ultimate snub. The lobby fell into a heavy quiet. The young defender watched from the corner, his face a mix of shock and grim fascination. Elena felt that old, searing anger rise, familiar as an unwelcome shadow. The easy, ingrained bias that pegged her skin as a limit on her worth. She could have blown up, flashed her judicial credentials from the governor's office, demanded to see the administrator, a guy named Robert Klein. But a sharper urge kicked in, the hunter's edge from her days as a prosecutor. Karen Wilkins wasn't just rude, she was brazen. That kind of naked disdain didn't sprout alone. It was fed, shielded, and Elena, who'd planned to head straight to her chambers, shifted gears. "Fine," she said evenly. "I'll wait." She turned, not slouching in defeat, but striding with purpose. She crossed to the hard bench along the wall, sat, set her bag in her lap, and crossed her legs. She wasn't just tuning into the courthouse's beat anymore. She was stalking prey. From her glass throne, Karen Wilkins ruled this lobby, and she'd just committed the deadly error of mocking the one person who'd suddenly outranked her. The lobby started filling up. Folks who had no choice streamed in. Defendants out on bond, worried families, people battling evictions. They shuffled forward, gripping scraps of paper, faces tight with dread. They lined up ragged and uneasy before Karen's window. From her spot, Elena had a clear line of sight. She sat motionless as a statue, absorbing every detail. She witnessed Karen's performance. To a white guy in a sharp suit, it was all, "Yes, sir, Mr. Ellis," and "Right away, sir." To a frightened Latina woman cradling a fussy baby, she was a stone barrier. "English?" Karen barked. "I don't speak that. Next." To a young black man asking where to settle a fine, she sighed. "Do I look like a teller? Basement. And tuck in that shirt. This ain't a club." It was vile, all too expected. But then Elena spotted it. The sharp-suited man, the one Karen had called Mr. Ellis, came back. His name was Dale Ellis. Elena recalled him dimly from legal journals, a sleaze who handled DUIs for the elite and ugly splits. He reeked of aftershave, flashed a pricey watch, and oozed slimy appeal. He skipped the line, heading straight to a plain door beside the glass marked Clerk's Office, Staff Only. He rapped a distinct pattern. Moments later, it cracked open from inside. Karen herself peeked out. Her whole vibe had flipped, the prickly front gone, swapped for an eager, fawning grin. "Dale, you're early," she hissed. her words drifting in the hush. "Client's got an arraignment soon." "You got that thing we talked about, the morning docket sheet right here," Karen said. She slipped him a twice-folded page discreetly. Elena zeroed in. A docket sheet. Why the hush? Lawyers could grab that digitally, unless this was advance intel, unless Karen was tipping him off to the random judge assignment early, letting him tailor a motion or bail if he drew a tough one. Rigging the game, Dale took the sheet and smoothly handed over an envelope. Standard white, but bulky, cash thick. Karen pocketed it in her desk drawer without a peek. "Pleasure as always," she said. "Always, Karen," Dale replied, flashing teeth. He strolled out, radiating assurance. Elena's veins chilled. This went beyond bias, beyond a bitter power grab. This was straight-up crime, bribery unfolding right there, before the gavel even dropped. She nearly rose, instinct screaming to badge up, summon security, haul them in. But her prosecutor's mind held firm. One sighting's a fluke, two's a trend. She waited. Soon after, a woman burst in, frantic, eyes swollen from tears, hair wild. She clutched a bundle of papers like a lifeline, looking utterly exhausted. She bolted to the window, cutting the growing line. "Please," she pleaded. "I need to file this. It's a restraining order. He tracked down my sister's place. He's coming, please, before my hearing." A guy in line, a builder in a grimy jacket, turned. "Hey, back of the line." "I can't," she sobbed, shoving her documents against the glass. "Please, ma'am. Karen, please." Karen eyed her with total indifference. First off, no cutting. Second, all emergency TROs and ex parte motions need filing by cutoff to hit today's calendar. You're late. File it now. It'll go tomorrow. "Tomorrow?" the woman wailed, terror raw. "He could find me by then. I can't wait. It's right here. Can't you stamp it?" "The system's locked," Karen said, nodding at nothing. "Hands tied. Rules are rules." The woman shattered, sliding down the glass to the floor, her cries echoing. "No, no, no, you don't get it." Elena watched. This was the crux. Karen stared at the breaking woman for a long, heartless beat. Then she sighed like dealing with a brat. She stepped out from her booth, approaching. "Look," Karen muttered, low and shady, just audible to Elena. "Get up. You're causing a scene." She hauled the woman up. "I might bend things. The system's got wiggle room sometimes, but the override hits with a fee. A big one for the hassle." The woman's face twisted between hope and bewilderment. "A fee? I'll pay. How much?" "Emergency push costs $200 cash," Karen said, eyes flat. Elena's gut twisted as the woman's hope faded. "200? I got 150. It's all till payday." Karen paused, scanning the lobby. Her gaze skimmed Elena, writing her off as background noise. 150 all due, Karen relented, like granting mercy. "Hand it over." The woman's hands trembled so hard she fumbled her purse, pulling out rumpled bills. A 50, some 20s, ones. She passed them. Karen palmed the cash, took the papers. "Wait here," she ordered. She ducked back in. Elena tracked her. Karen typed briefly, then dug out a manual stamp, twisted the dials back. She inked the documents, received earlier. She'd faked the timestamp for a payoff. She was shaking down an abuse victim. Elena shut her eyes briefly. The fury inside was glacial, crystal clear, almost peaceful, like a doctor spotting malignancy. This wasn't a faulty part. This was poison spreading through the whole body. Karen emerged, thrusting the papers back. "Stamped. You're on the calendar. Head to 2A. Now beat it." The woman, still weeping but grateful, thanked her endlessly and dashed off. Karen returned to her post, stashed the $150 in that same drawer as Dale's envelope, and barked, "Next!" Elena glanced around. She had a mission now. This transcended her own slight. The racism was the surface rot. The core sickness was Karen Wilkins, and Judge Elena Wright was set to excise it. For the next stretch, Elena stayed put. Motionless, she logged every exchange, every sneer, every smug twist. She saw Karen misplace a file for a low-income advocate, stalling them, then magically locate it for a suit from a big firm bearing fancy baked goods. The lobby was her fiefdom, ruled with small-minded cruelty and shrewd graft. A burly uniformed man appeared from a side entrance. His jacket said bailiff, name tag Officer Reed. He had a jaded, world-weary look. He nodded at Karen. "Morning, Karen. Usual mess?" "You know it, Tom," Karen replied, beaming at him. Total shift. "The riffraff's thick today. Judge Harlan would have locked half up for contempt already. Not sure about this new one, right? From out of state?" Reed asked, nursing coffee. "That's her," Karen said, voice dropping but carrying. "Some diversity pick, no doubt. Probably can't tell a compulsion motion from a dismissal. We'll break in another. Draining." Elena listened, face blank. Diversity pick. Another jab. Another presumption. She tucked it with the others. "Well," Reed said, ditching his cup. "Time to unleash the zoo. You set for 3B. "As ever," Karen huffed. Reed unlocked the heavy doors to 3B off the lobby. Early lawyers and folks for the docket filtered in. Karen stacked files, her face souring again. This was it. Elena Wright rose. Her sudden stir after stillness caught Karen's eye. Elena zipped her bag, smoothed her suit collar. She headed not to the window, but the judges and staff only door beside it, the one Dale had used. Karen's head whipped up, the disdain sharpened to anger. "Hey you," she yelled. "I said that door's off limits to public." The lobby hushed. "You deaf? I told you to stay on the bench." Elena ignored her, reaching the door. "Ma'am," Karen leaped up, screeching. "I'll have you in contempt. You can't just—" Elena slipped a hand into her pocket, pulling a plain white key card, her temp all access from state judicial admin, till her permanent one came. She didn't glance at Karen. Facing the wall scanner, she swiped. A soft beep, light flipping red to green, Karen's yell choked off in a gasp. The lobby went tomb silent, just the solid clunk of the lock releasing. Elena pushed through, paused on the threshold, and turned. She met Karen Wilkins' eyes, whose face had blanched milk white. The piled hair seemed to sag. Her mouth gaped soundless. "Miss Wilkins," Judge Elena Wright said, her tone soft but laced with iron command. It demanded, didn't ask. "Court starts soon. In that window, I want 3 things." Karen's hands, once planted on hips, now quivered at her sides. "First," Elena went on, "get the keys to my chambers, 3B, from storage. Second, pull my orientation packet from the administrator's office. I'm sure Mr. Klein will love hearing about my welcome." "And third," Elena said, gaze drilling in, "bring me black coffee. Set all 3 on my bench in 3B. Then back to your post, prep the call." Elena let the commands linger. The young defender, hanging back to watch, buried a grin in his file. "Your Honor," Karen whispered, panicked. "I didn't recognize you. I thought—" "You thought," Elena sliced in, precise as a blade, "I was a defendant, the public, that I didn't look the part. What you didn't think, Miss Wilkins, is that anyone stepping in here deserves basic respect. Your biases aren't my issue, but as of now, they're yours." Elena crossed the threshold. "Soon, Miss Wilkins," she added over her shoulder. "Don't drag. Bad precedent." The door clicked shut, leaving a stunned hush. Karen stood rigid for a beat, her face twisted in raw horror. The blood rushed out so fast she clutched her desk to stand. The shame crushed her. The power flip in Harlan County Courthouse had been swift, brutal. Then dread turned frantic. She scrambled, snatching keys, rifling drawers, bolting down the hall to admin. No queen anymore, just a scared underling on a desperate errand. And the gut punch wasn't the humiliation. It was the nauseating flash of Dale Ellis. The envelope, the restraining order woman, the faked stamp. How long had that black woman, that judge, been watching from the bench? What had she caught? The brief time Elena spent in her chambers blurred with sharp focus. The space smelled of aged tomes and citrus shine. Her predecessor had cleared out clean, a fresh start. She found the robes in a tall cabinet, slipping the heavy black over her shoulders. The weight grounded her, her shield. She wasn't some token hire, as Karen implied. Harvard Law, ex-assistant U.S. attorney, federal prosecutor who'd toppled major rackets back east. She'd taken this gig to stay near her ailing dad. She hadn't sought battle, but Karen Wilkins' hubris had ignited one. Elena stood behind the thick door to the bench, hearing the muffled settling of the room. Officer Reed boomed, "All rise, Harlan County Superior Court, Part 3B, now in session. The Honorable Judge Elena Wright presiding." The door swung. Elena ascended. The space was mid-sized, crammed. Lawyers packed the front, defendants and kin a tense mix behind. At the clerk spot to her right, Karen Wilkins. She looked a decade older, pale and sweaty. Keys, packet, styrofoam coffee, all aligned precisely on the bench corner as commanded. Elena sat. The room followed, chairs scraping. She cracked the top file. "Good morning," she said, carrying crisp. "I'm Judge Wright, handling this docket from here on. My rules are straightforward. Be prompt, ready, respectful. To me, the court, each other. We'll handle the people's business with honor and speed. Clear?" A chorus of "Yes, Your Honor," murmured through the attorneys. "Good," Elena said. She scanned the list, spotting the opener. State v. Harlan, the young defender's motion. "First," she called, "Docket 901, State v. Harlan. Counsel, approach." The kid stepped up, still wide-eyed. "Your Honor, I filed a continuance this morning." "Noted," Elena said, "and the state objects." The ADA, a keen woman in blue, rose. "We do, Your Honor. Victims traveled twice. We're set." Elena eyed the defender. "Your grounds?" "My client's alibi witness just surfaced. She's in a remote area." "Granted," Elena ruled. Both lawyers blinked. "Your Honor," the ADA started. "Granted, counsel," Elena repeated, fixed on the file. "Defense rights are fundamental. State's hassle is operational. Reschedule." She turned to Karen. "Miss Wilkins, slot a new trial date. Say 6 weeks out. Align with both sides." Karen's fingers shook over the keys, barely functional. The kid gaped. He'd braced for loss. It was the first quiet pivot. Elena powered through the next handful with brisk, keen efficiency. Denied a standard stall from a fancy attorney. Approved a hardship plea from a defendant. Fair, swift, firm. The lawyers caught on fast. This judge brooked no nonsense. Then midway, "Next, ex parte temporary restraining order request. Klein v. Klein." The frantic woman from the lobby, Sarah Klein, trembled up front. "Miss Klein, approach," Elena said. She reviewed the plea, a stark tale of abuse and rising danger. "Miss Klein, I've examined your filing. Your claims hold weight. The risk is clear. TRO granted. Immediate effect." Sarah dissolved in relieved sobs. "Thank you, Your Honor. Oh God, thank you." "Officer Reed," Elena said, "escort Miss Klein to the TRO desk for service and ensure safe exit." "Yes, Your Honor," Reed moved. "And Miss Wilkins," Elena added, tone sharpening. Karen jerked like slapped. "Yes, Your Honor. Bring the original Klein v. Klein filing from your desk." This shifted the air. Odd request. "Your Honor," Karen faltered, "the file's in the system." Not asking about digital, Miss Wilkins. The physical one you stamped this morning. Now. Karen's color drained. Direct order, no wiggle. She trudged to her office, the room silent, riveted by the odd tension. She returned with it, passing it up. Elena inspected, the smudged stamp. Received earlier. She glanced at the wall clock. Miss Wilkins, Elena said, voice lethally soft. I saw you accept this from Miss Klein myself. Saw you stamp it. Karen panted shallow. And I noted, Elena pressed, it came in later, not stamped as shown. Whispers erupted. Lawyers' eyes bulged. Backdating allegation. A grave offense. Your Honor, must be an error. The clock, my stamp. Karen crumbled. There's an error, Elena said, steel hard. But not mine. I'm also intrigued by the emergency override fee you levied on Miss Klein, the $150 cash. Cite the law or rule allowing that, Karen whimpered, clutching her station, cornered by the one she couldn't bulldoze, bluff, or ignore. I, then Elena amplified for the room. We'll discuss docket assignments too, specifically your morning chat with Mr. Dale Ellis. In back, Dale Ellis, fresh in for his case, stiffened. His smirk vanished. He met Elena's stare, knowing he was snared. Elena leaned in. Miss Wilkins, recess now. Officer Reed, secure her desk, computer, belongings. Touch nothing. We'll meet with the presiding judge and DA. Officer Reed, yes, Your Honor. Escort Miss Wilkins to my chambers and call the DA. Send their top public integrity investigator stat. Ensure Mr. Dale Ellis stays put. He's key to several felonies. All rise, Reed thundered as Elena rose, exiting the bench. Karen let out a guttural moan, slumping, face buried. The room hung in shocked quiet. The hammer had dropped, not on a defendant, but the machinery itself. Elena's chambers buzzed with urgent energy. Officer Reed guarded the door with a quaking, tear-streaked Karen in a side chair. Elena phoned not the presiding judge yet, but Robert Klein, the administrator. Robert, Judge Wright. Yes, new 3B. No, haven't touched the packet. That's the call. Elena's tone cracked like a lash, eyes on Karen. Informing you I've suspended your head clerk, Karen Wilkins, effective immediately. The line erupted in protest. With respect, Robert, procedure be damned. I'm reporting what I witnessed. I've been here early. Saw Miss Wilkins commit at least 3 felonies. Bribery, extortion, records tampering. So join the admin side or read it in tomorrow's paper after I loop the DA. Your call, she hung abrupt. Your Honor, Karen murmured through sobs. Please, mistake, mix-up. I'll refund the cash. What cash, Miss Wilkins? Elena asked softly. The $150 you squeezed from an abuse victim, or Mr. Ellis's envelope. How many envelopes, Karen? How long's this side hustle run? I don't know what you mean, Karen grasped feebly. You took a fat white envelope from Dale Ellis in exchange for folded paper, stashed it top left drawer, Elena recited flat. I'd wager my bench that investigators find it stuffed with bills. Wrong? Karen's composure shattered. The detail sealed it. The door burst. Presiding Judge Harlan stormed in, white-haired lion fuming. Right, what the hell? You can't hold staff. You've wrecked the docket. Protocols exist. Judge Harlan, Elena rose, shorter, but she commanded the space. Sit, Miss Wilkins, she nodded, is a crook, caught her selling favors and shaking down victims. Harlan halted, jaw slack. Karen, our Karen, 30 years, that's slander. Is it? Elena said. She turned to Reed. Desk secured? Yes, Your Honor. Good. Judge Harlan, join me for a quick trip? Without pause, Elena marched out through the chaotic hall to the clerk's office. Harlan and Reed, with Karen trailing, followed. The lobby thrummed with gossip. Everyone sensed the storm. Elena bypassed the counter, stood at Karen's station. Top left drawer, Miss Wilkins, she said. Open it. Karen, leaf shaking, keyed it. Inside, under notes and clips, 2 envelopes. Dale's thick white one, the rumpled $150 wad from Sarah. Harlan deflated with a sigh. Oh, Karen, no. Elena prodded the white with a pen. This from Ellis, I bet. She's peddled assignments, tipping lawyers like him early for prep or dodges. She faced Harlan. Poisoning fairness. And this, she pointed the cash, from a DV victim. Karen charged $150 to fake a timestamp on a free filing, extorted a terrified woman. Harlan eyed Karen with deep, soul-weary letdown. Karen, why? Karen snapped, full collapse. They don't pay enough, she shrieked. 30 years in this dump. 30 years wrangling this garbage, she waved at the lobby. 30 years fixing judges' screw-ups, getting screamed at, treated like dirt. Ellis was grateful, said I earned extra, and that woman was late. Rules exist. The rules you trashed, Elena iced, the ones you sold. Then 2 suits arrived, badging Reed. DA's office, integrity unit, call from Judge Wright. Me, Elena stepped up. Gentlemen, Harlan County Courthouse, primary, Miss Karen Wilkins. Evidence, she motioned the drawer. Pay to play, at least recent hours. Likely years, given her nerve, Elena pointed out. Co-conspirator Dale Ellis detained in my court. Start there. The investigators gleamed. This was packaged victory. As they Mirandized Karen, snapped pics, Elena faced Harlan. This is the decay, Judge, she murmured. What happens when we get complacent? Let Karen's run wild. Swap honor for ease. Not just her flop, ours. Harlan, 2-decade veteran, scanned his lobby anew. The desperate looks, confusion, fear, and the exploiter. You're right, he said heavily. Dead right. Respect dawned in his eyes. What now? New clerk, Elena said. Temp, stat, someone who serves the public, not lords it, and full audit of every Wilkins Ellis case. The courthouse didn't bounce back fast. The Karen Wilkins mess, as headlines screamed, wrecked it. Karen pled to charges, 14 bribery, 28 records tampering, 1 justice conspiracy. An out-of-county judge slammed her. 30 years wasn't mercy. It damned her harder. 12 years state pen. She collapsed at the reading. Dale got disbarred. His testimony for leniency sank 3 lawyers, scarred 2 more. His rich client, case crumbling, pled out. The witness, secured just in time. But Elena Wright's fight raged on. True reckoning wasn't punishment alone. It was renewal. With humbled Harlan's support, Elena spearheaded. First, new head clerk. She elevated the young, shy public defender, Karen's early target. Stunned, but Elena saw his spine. Mr. Harlan, she told him privately, not because you're ace counsel, because you stayed respectful amid disrespect, followed rules under bullying. This spot needs no despot, a servant. You in? He took it, his first move, new sign at the window, English and Spanish. We're here to help. Your dignity matters. Second, Elena tracked Sarah Klein, the $150 victim. Personal court apology. Cash refunded from emergency fund. Elena handled the final hearing, granting 5-year permanent protection. Justice, twisted and bought, finally delivered. But the shift was deeper. Judge Elena Wright set a benchmark in one morning. 3B became mythic, streamlined, no tricks, utterly even. She respected defenders like big firm suits, heard defendants, explained decisions. Karen's weaponized bias vanished, starved by fresh air. Later, Elena crossed the lobby after a grueling day. Cleaner now, lighter vibe. New clerk Mr. Harlan patiently guided a young woman on filing, a black first-year associate in a basic suit, clearly jittery. It's tricky, he said gently. Substitution motion uses the original number, but the order goes here. Let me show. He stepped out, stood beside her, pointing. Her relief shone. Thanks so much. I feared messing up. Everyone does first go, he smiled. My role's fixing that. Welcome to Harlan County, Counselor, Elena observed. The woman straightened, fear swapped for ease, belonging. Elena kept walking, silent. Her heel's steady click on the shine was enough. Integrity's echo, promise fulfilled, the bunker breached, decay removed. Real justice, at last, taken root. True reckoning isn't mere penalty. It's fallout. Karen Wilkins' bigoted, haughty cackle banked her ruin. 30 years crafting corruption, demolished in a morning, for failing to see beyond skin. She lost not just her throne, her liberty. And Judge Elena Wright didn't just claim respect. She remade the machine, swapped decay for decency, shattered bias walls, laid integrity's base. A stark lesson. The one you scorn today might grip your fate tomorrow. Respect isn't choice, it's mandate. In the echoing lobby of Harlan County Courthouse, a woman in a simple charcoal suit stood quietly at the clerk's window, hoping for directions to her new chambers. Karen Wilkins, the longtime head clerk with her rigid bleached hair and sour command, barely glanced up. She scanned Elena Wright's dark skin, plain clothes, and unassuming demeanor, then dismissed her with a wave and a cruel laugh. Defendant intakes down the hall, sweetie. Judges don't look like you. When Elena calmly corrected her, I'm Judge Elena Wright, taking over Part 3B. Karen burst into mocking laughter. A judge? Oh, honey, that's the funniest thing I've heard all week. She turned away, certain this stray belonged on the benches with the rest of the riffraff. What Karen never imagined was that the woman she had just humiliated with raw, casual racism was the new superior court judge. Elena Wright had arrived early in plain clothes to quietly observe the courthouse's pulse. Instead, she witnessed something far worse than personal disrespect, a toxic system of bribery and extortion. From her seat on the hard wooden bench, Elena watched Karen shake down a terrified domestic violence victim for $150 to backdate a restraining order filing, slip confidential docket sheets to a sleazy lawyer named Dale Ellis in exchange for thick envelopes of cash, and treat people of color and the poor with open contempt while fawning over the wealthy and connected. The gatekeeper wasn't just rude, she was rotten to the core, selling access to justice itself. Elena could have exploded in anger. Instead, she sat motionless, gathering evidence with the cold precision of the seasoned prosecutor she once was. When court finally convened in Part 3B, she ascended the bench in her black robe and began her quiet revolution. One by one, she exposed the corruption. She ordered Karen to produce the backdated filing and the bribe envelopes. She had the DA's Public Integrity Unit called in on the spot. Karen Wilkins, queen of the lobby for 30 years, collapsed in panic as federal and state investigators seized her desk, her computer, and her hidden cash. The woman who had mocked Elena's appearance and denied basic dignity to so many was arrested for bribery, extortion, records tampering, and conspiracy. Her empire of small-minded cruelty and graft crumbled in a single morning. This powerful story carries one of life's most emotional and unforgettable lessons. Asterisk, asterisk. Never judge a person by their appearance or the color of their skin, because the one you mock and belittle today may hold the authority, the evidence, and the moral courage to bring your entire corrupt world crashing down. Asterisk. Asterisk Karen Wilkins saw only race and assumed weakness. She never dreamed the stray she laughed at was the judge who would expose her years of selling justice to the highest bidder. The tale reminds us that true power is not loud or flashy. It often arrives in quiet dignity, wearing simple clothes, and waits patiently for the right moment to rise. Life will sometimes place you before someone who treats you with contempt simply because of how you look or where you come from. In those painful moments, remember Judge Elena Wright. Stay composed, hold your truth, and trust that justice has eyes that see beyond the surface. Respect is not optional. It is the foundation of a fair world. The person you dismiss as less than may one day be the very one who restores dignity to everyone the system has failed. If this heartfelt story of hidden strength, casual racism, and the quiet power of real justice moved you deeply, if it reminded you never to judge too quickly or stay silent when basic human dignity is attacked, please share your thoughts in the comments below. Have you ever been dismissed or witnessed prejudice that later revealed a greater truth or unexpected reckoning? Your story could give strength to someone feeling invisible right now. If you love emotional, inspiring life lessons wrapped in gripping tales of courage and accountability, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next powerful chapter. Let's build a community that values respect, fairness, and human dignity for every single person. Thank you for watching. Your support means everything. See you in the next inspiring story. 298 words.